President Trump is set to address the nation tonight. Jacqueline Fernandez joins us live with the discourse around the address. Jacqueline?
Brian, President Trump is set to speak at 8 our time, and the focus is on elections and voting machines. Trump has only offered vague details about what he plans to say. The White House said today the speech tonight would involve the integrity of elections. We asked Nebraska Representative Don Bacon about the address and the rumors surrounding it.
But it was leaked that he was going to say the two senators in Georgia were elected based on fraudulent means. And then then the leaks subsequent said, no, he changed off of that. And what I'm hearing right now is he's going to focus on some intelligence, evidently, that shows that China was trying to influence elections in 2020.
Bacon said he's always for finding ways to make elections more secure, but in the end, our elections are secure, and it's not wise to question the results. We will stream the speech live on our streaming app. NBC will not broadcast the president's speech live. Brian.
Nebraska's largest